Gzz, gzz, gzz. Jedi Zonker here to teach you how to balance the Force. Today's session involves real-world problems. These are the 5 things we are going to be considering. What information do we have? What changes and what does not change? What is the question asking? Then set up an equation, solve, and check that equation. Go ahead and write these down. Let's get right to an example. Yoda buys a droid for 200 credits and some swamp rats for 3 credits each. Yoda has a total of 221 credits. How many swamp rats can Yoda buy? Let's take a look at our first step. What information do we have? What do we know? Well, we can see that a droid cost 200 credits precisely, so we could write that down. We also know that each swamp rat costs 3 credits, and we know that he has a total of 221 credits. So taking a look right down here, we have written those 3 things down that we know. Next up, let's look at what's going to change and what's not going to change. Taking a look back at our problem, I can see that he buys some swamp rats for 3 credits each. We don't know how many swamp rats, so that is variable. That might change. So we're going to put that for what changes. The number of swamp rats Yoda buys. Not Rhoda, Yoda. Sorry, buddy. Okay, next, what's fixed? Well, we know that he buys 1 droid for 200 credits. That's what we know. So we can write that as well for what does not change. Yoda buys 1 droid for 200 credits. Third, what is the question asking? And this is where you always look for a question mark, and that's going to be your clue. Here it says, how many swamp rats can Yoda buy? And that's exactly what we want to answer. How many swamp rats can Yoda buy? All right, here's where it gets a little interesting. We want to go to our 4th step, write an equation to represent this situation. What I always like to do is find out what my end goal or my total is. Here we have a total. Let's go to yellow. Green's okay. Let's go to green for Yoda. The total is 221 credits. We know we have a total. So I'm going to start by writing equals 221. That's our end goal. That's how much he has to spend. Now on the left side of the equation, let's look at what is not changing. We know that he is not changing this 200 credits. He bought that droid, he is spending that. So I'm going to put 200 here. That's going to represent what he's spending, 200 credits. And then he's going to pay 3 credits each for the swamp rats, and we're going to use that variable R. So he spent 200 on the droid. We're going to add to that 3 credits for every swamp rat. That is 200 credits for the droid plus 3 times how many swamp rats he buys, and that has to equal our total, which is 221. From there, we can proceed to step number 5, which is trying to solve this guy right here. So we see our variables right here at 3r. So we're going to start by subtracting 200 from both sides, keep balance of the equation. These 200s are going to go away. That's going to leave us with 3r equals 221 minus 200. That's just going to be 21. Next, we want to take a look at, again, our variable. And our variable is being multiplied by this 3. So we'll do the opposite of that. Divide, keeping balance. That's going to go away, and we're going to get R equals 21 divided by 3, which is 7. So Yoda should be buying 7 swamp rats. And I'll just put an R for rats. Now we have our answer of 7 swamp rats. I'm just going to check this really quick up here. I know that Yoda spends the $200, so I'm going to put 200 right there. I have solved that he buys 7 swamp rats for 3 each, so that's going to be $21. And if I add these together, that 200 plus 21, that's going to be 221, which is exactly how many credits that we were told that he has. So this is a correct solution. Let's do one more. The Jedi are taking a field trip to the planet Naboo and will be taking the Millennium Falcon and some number of X-Wing spaceships. This spaceship, Millennium Falcon, can hold 20 people. If X-Wing spaceships can hold 2 people each, how many X-Wings would be needed to take 40 Jedi? First up, what information do we know? Well, I see that the Millennium Falcon can hold 20 people. I also see that the X-Wing spaceships can hold 2 people each, and we need to take 40 Jedi in total. So I'm going to write that down for our first step. Second, what's changing, what's not changing? Well, we know that the X-Wing spaceships can hold 2 each. We don't know how many X-Wing spaceships. So that's what's changing. We also know that we have one Millennium Falcon that can hold 20 people. That's what's fixed or not changing. So we'll write that down for number 2. Third, what is being asked of us? It looks like our question here is how many X-Wings would be needed to take 40 Jedi. So since we have that question right there, we're going to write that down, how many X-Wings needed for the rest of the people, the rest of the Jedi to travel. All right, next up, let's write our equation. Again, I like to focus on what our total is. We know that we have a total, an end goal of taking 40 Jedi. So I'm going to put equals 40. Then we know that the Falcon can hold 20 people. So we have one Falcon that's worth 20 people. Plus, however many X-Wings we have, and we're going to use that variable X to stand for our X-Wings. We don't know how many, but we do know that each one can hold 2 people. So we have 20 for the Millennium Falcon plus 2 times however many X-Wings we take equals our total that we want, which is 40. Let's see if we could solve this. So we've got our variable right here at 2x. So we're going to start by getting rid of this 20 by subtracting 20, keeping balance from both sides. That's going to leave us with 2x equals 40 minus 20, which is 20. Then, let's give ourselves a little bit more room here. Then we have 2 times x, so let's do the opposite of that, divide by 2. Keep balance, divide by 2 on both sides. That's going to cancel, giving us 1x equals 20 divided by 2, which is 10. So we should need 10 X-Wings. And that is going to be our solution. Let's check this out, make sure it works. We know that we can hold 20 people with our Millennium Falcon, so that gives us a total of 20 people. We got 10 X-Wings that can hold 2 people each. Again, that is 10 X-Wings, that was the solution that we got, that can hold 2 people each for a total of 10 times 2, which is 20. Then we have the 20 and the 20 giving us a total of 40 people, 40 Jedi. That checks out with what our goal was, 40 Jedi. So we know our solution is correct. Jedi Zonker out.